Hey guys, and welcome to the J and K Show. This is your Wednesday edition. This is your prime time headlines for all sports that we can see or that are actually interesting. Of course, we will start though with the Super Bowl. And in some cases, some will say, well, that was the worst Super Bowl of all time. However, it was actually almost the most watched Super Bowl of all time. And we can get into the intricacies of all of that. I think we should start first with the beginning. We had Charlie Pugh and a $2 million, it looked like, flyover for the America the Beautiful. Always, people talk about like, wow, I can't believe it costs that much. And it's like, well, when you have seven planes, one
Yep.
real big one, and then after that, another big one after, it's like, those are a lot of planes with a lot of fuel and time logging their training. And yeah,
Yep.
apparently it's like a few 100,000 per plane. So yeah, that was about $1.5 million worth of flyover that we got to start the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but what a hell of a shot they got though. That
Yes,
was
it was excellent.
had the fireworks going off and all the planes, and old buddy was he was belting the pipes there.
Yeah, everyone said it was one
So
of the better openings of a song. I think they've had a lot of different people over the years, and they were like, hey, that was actually a really strong vocal to open the show. So I think most people
yeah.
were happy with that one.
Yeah.
And then the football game itself, right? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people feel like it was boring, and I understand their premise. But honestly, because of only getting field goals, it kind of felt dramatic still the whole time. I didn't
Yeah.
mind it, but I was surprised how dominant Seattle seemed to look throughout most of the game.
Yeah, New England just couldn't do anything on offense, like, at all. They said the that Bad Bunny during the halftime show had more yards with the ball than the Patriots offense did. So that was hilarious.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it
but it
was
was
high and tight. He was holding that high and
high
tight.
and Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure because that was the shit shower time for me. But overall, I think a lot of people, for the most part, were happy with the halftime show, even though it was nobody could understand what the hell he was saying. But at the same time, it looked like a dance-a-thon. It was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, to get back to it, New England they just looked lost, man. The Drake May, he was getting worked from the left side, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just an awful performance by the New England offensive line.
Obviously, they did get worked and they didn't really adjust throughout the game. The late blitz got there every time. And it
Every
just
time.
kind of felt like, should it be look this easy to
Yeah.
late blitz from the slot with Devin Witherspoon? It's like, how many fucking times are they gonna do that? Three
Mhm.
successful
3.
times. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, causing a fumble on one, and it's like, it seemed like the inability to adjust, or maybe they just didn't have the guys to stop it, right?
Mhm.
That's the
Yeah.
only two scenarios I would say for New England.
Yeah, I was like, man, they should probably go into a 3 tight end set and then have 2 of them on the left side.
And Chip,
Just chip and maybe even just keep them there. I mean, hell, I mean, they were getting home. It seemed like every other play, May was just under duress and he could not take that extra half a second to make sure his guy was there. It was just under pressure all night long. And yeah, they kicked a lot of field goals, and it was like, yeah, there was a lack of touchdown scoring, but it didn't get they didn't get too far away where you thought, okay, there's still a chance they can come out in the second half and score points, and they did.
yeah,
But Seattle was able to get a couple of touchdowns on their own, and it was just like that defensive, that pick six. It was kind of like, all right, now it's done. I mean, there's
it's
just no way New England's going to figure it out in the last two drives of the games.
yeah.
You kind of just knew, but it was still fourth quarter before it was really decided. It wasn't boring. It wasn't as bad as the 2018, I think it was, Patriots and Rams. That one was bad.
That one was bad. And the Seattle drubbing of the Broncos, 40 like 3-8. That one, it's like when you
Yeah.
see a real big blowout. That one's not very.
That was still
Honestly,
fun to watch because I was still kind of bitter about Peyton being in Denver, so I didn't want him to win another one for the Broncos.
but and then even last year, Philly beat the Chiefs' ass, right? And a
Yeah,
lot of people were like, "Man, like that was kind of ugly." And it's like, yeah, the game was kind of decided because there was just so much physical force that even though Kansas City would make some plays here or there, it was like Philly was physically dominant the whole time. And so now Seattle, here they go. They looked exactly the same as far as physical dominance. A lot of people probably are going to point to New England as they just weren't ready for this stage, and they were so young and inexperienced that they
Yeah.
had such a hell of a run that they were just humbled for the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Which kind of makes me worry about next season, because they're going to be pissed,
Yeah.
and if they were to be able to go on this run this year, being as inexperienced as they were in Brable's first year,
Right.
give him another off season and everything, and let Drake May get another season under his belt. Got a taste of a championship. He was right at the doorstep. So I don't have any doubts that they'll probably be back, maybe a couple more times in the next few years. So they're still going to be a problem. And I think they still let everybody know. But Seattle, man, if they can keep this team together for another 2 or 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be hard to put them out.
Yes, they should be very good for a while, unless some
Mm-hmm.
pieces, move on, go other places. But the take back from the game, I thought at some point I was like the MVP felt like it was going to go to a defensive player, and then I was like, but it is rare. And I'm like, I thought maybe Devin Witherspoon, because it just seemed like he was one of the guys that were really wrecking the game. But then they get the pick six and they have the fumble recovery. But Weatherspoon, I think, is the one that really caused the fumble.
Mm-hmm.
And so they started getting other plays from just the whole team. And I was like, okay, now they got 6 sacks. Now it's like
Yeah.
the defense is really just unloading from everywhere. And it's like now I started to have my doubts. And then lo and behold, Kenneth Walker gets in the end zone and the X Factor Super Bowl MVP is born. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, even though I
Yeah,
picked
you
New
called that
England,
shit. You called that shit.
even though I picked New England with just the nightmares and the worries and just I've seen this before bullshit, I did say if Seattle were to pull it out, I felt it. Kenneth Walker was going to be the difference with everything he had done leading up to it. I knew he was going to be the guy, and to his credit, over 130 yards. I think we even said here if he gets over 110 or 20 yards, they're going to win the game, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I want to know where the MVP voters were for Dominic Rhodes when we beat the Bears. No, it was like Peyton didn't have the greatest game. A lot of people don't remember,
Yes.
but he got the MVP, and I'm just like, okay, that was a sympathy MVP, but
Sam Darnold isn't Peyton, right? It's like the
no,
name.
yeah,
When you
yeah,
have a lower enough name, now we can just give it to who really should
yeah,
have had the best game by stats and by impact. And it's like, oh yeah, we'll go Kenneth Walker.
yeah. Well, Kenneth Walker definitely deserved to get it. I mean, he
Yes.
carried the offense the entire game.
27 times he did. Yes, he did well.
Just breaking off runs, breaking their hearts, taking their spirit. It seemed like every time they'd be in a 3rd and long, and they'd hand him the ball and he'd get a first down. And it's just
I would have said it here, and I was really ready for it if there would have been no touchdowns. Jason Myers, your MVP. I would have sang it, and I know it wouldn't have happened, but I would have
no.
sang it from the rooftop. He was the guy that beat the Colts, who really gave them the
Mm-hmm.
best game of the last second half of the season. So yeah, old man Philip Rivers loses to Jason Myers' last second field goal, and then if he had been 5 field goals and it was like 15-0 game over, Jason Myers
Mm-hmm.
is your Super Bowl MVP. That's how I would have
Yep.
yelled and screamed it for days. But we
That
got
would have
some
been the only
touchdowns.
option.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
touchdowns, so it changed it.
Yeah, that's okay. I wouldn't have been upset giving him the MVP if all they got was the field goals. But yeah, I would almost say give the entire defense, just the Seattle defense as a whole, the MVP
There's so
at that
many.
point. Because I mean, they brought how much I don't know exactly what the number is, but they had to have had double-digit 3 and outs.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
pressures.
just ridiculous.
It was amazing, and like I said, there were so many guys: Leonard Williams, Devin Witherspoon, Nwosu. There were so many different guys making impacts on every play that I just thought it was an overwhelming effort. It really was. Now, shout out to the Patriots. There was one defender that really made a name for himself, and that was Gonzalez. He
Gonzalez had a hell of a game.
looks amazing. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
maybe the best safety, about to be the best safety in football. Like, he looks that damn good. His
Mm-hmm.
change of direction, where he allows a defender basically to cut and then he just like, and now I'm going to shoot in front of you. I am not
Yeah.
seeing guys with breakaway speed like that since like the Ed Reeds and the Palomalus back there, where they can
Yeah.
just allow a guy to run their route and shoot under it and take the ball. He had two unbelievable defensives that one of them could have been a pick. And I was like, wow,
Hmm.
this guy is unbelievably talented.
Yeah, he's gotten pretty good at baiting too. Like he's
Yeah.
just looking like he's run himself out of the play, but as soon as he sees that arm going back, he's breaking right back on it, and he makes the play. So, and I'll give kudos to Darnold too throughout the whole entire playoff run. They didn't have any turnovers, man, and he's the one that has been turnover prone like all season.
And
So,
admittedly, when he started that game, he had a few errant throws that I was
oh
like,
yeah.
bud, like you're gonna have to double move. We're gonna have to call some double moves because New England was absolutely chasing those cuts and trying to take the
Hmm.
ball early. I was like,
Yeah.
Darnold, you cannot put that ball there. There was one that when he threw it, I couldn't believe it got by, and Barner caught it. It was like his first catch of the game or second, and I was like, I thought it was a pick. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, you were really early on testing the defense. Like,
Oh yeah,
I was a little worried.
He was begging for something to happen. I mean, but him and May both were just throwing into tight windows and just trying to get something to go. And Darnold was the only one that was really having success with it. But I mean, give Make some credit too. I mean, he was trying. He was trying to get it into just the smallest of windows because it's the Super Bowl, dude. You have to throw it into small windows to get going. But in order to hit those small windows, you got to have a little bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
And he just did not have it. But Darnold had. It seemed like there were plays where he was getting his ass kicked too.
Yeah,
But it just seemed like more often than not he had plenty of time to throw. Like he
yeah,
wasn't under pressure every time like
I
Darnold
agree.
or like May was.
New England definitely sagged into coverage, which they were. I mean, I think it was an okay game plan, but it also hurt
Yeah.
them stopping the run, as you've seen. And that's why I was so satisfied with the MVP choice because New England couldn't run the ball. Seattle was the number one run defense by yards. They didn't let them run the ball. And then you look on the other side, and it's like, yeah, Seattle ran the ball. The offenses outside of that one difference, the rest of those offenses look pretty similar. Darnold was only so much better than May, and it was just because he had more time than May did. So when you looked
Yeah.
at it, it's like, okay, the only offensive player that really stood out was Kenneth Walker. So I was pretty satisfied with his MVP.
Absolutely. And he's about to get paid.
Is he? That's an interesting
He's gonna get
conversation
paid.
because what these teams love to do is they love to just draft a running back third round and then run with a cheap guy like a Charbonnet still on a contract. Like sometimes they don't pay their guy, and it's like I wonder.
It doesn't
Seattle
have to
might
be
be
Seattle.
pretty. Yeah, Seattle might be a little upset as fans if they allow Kenneth Walker to walk, but if he
If you
wants
let him go, that's
12
probably one of
mil,
the
if he wants
dumbest
12 a
things that you could
year,
ever do. Give it
Seattle
to him.
might not pay him. They might
He's
not.
still young enough. He's
I
still young
agree.
enough to
He's
where
well within his prime. That could
yeah,
end up being fine. Running backs aren't that expensive. So when you have a good
no.
one, you got to hold on to them.
Yeah. And I'm not saying they should break up the team either. Him and Charbonnet are an excellent one too.
Yes.
And as long as they can stay healthy, they showed you this entire season what they can do when they're healthy.
Yeah.
But I think Kenneth Walker also showed them it's like, look, I'm obviously the workhorse. Bring
Yes.
Charbonnet in to spell, but I mean, he made that statement when Charbonnet was out that first playoff game. Man, I mean, he was excellent from then all the way through.
Yeah.
So I think he has absolutely definitely planted his flag as the number one back there.
Yes.
So if they decide to let him go, I mean, sure, why not? But that would be a great mistake. I think if you're going to let any of them go, it would have to be Charbonnet. But you do whatever you can to keep those two together.
Right away, I see certain teams, and it's like, you tell me Pittsburgh or Kansas City wouldn't take Kenneth Walker if they had the right amount of money or the right situation. There's certain teams that
Hmm.
a bell cow potential guy, and they have someone to help spell. There are some teams out
Yeah,
there, they will snag up Kenneth Walker because, like I said, he is in the middle of his prime. He is coming off
hmm,
his rookie deal. He is now in his prime as a running back. And yeah, it's going to cost a little bit. But when you compare it to all of your positions, the market, you actually can afford to pay a running back. Especially
yeah,
when you have Darnold on less than, I believe it's like 28 million a year, which is one of the best quarterback contracts in the league. So when you're in that situation, you can pay your running back. And you point out too, Charbonnet gets hurt and it allows Kenneth Walker to explode. But imagine if
Mhm.
Charbonnet wasn't there. A two-back system is important because it actually helped keep Kenneth Walker fresh. That's
Mhm.
why he was able to explode because he only had, so many carries and so many touches. And if you have Charbonnet out all year or you don't have a backup that helps, then he's got like another 100 touches on his belt. And maybe he's a little more fatigued at the end of the year. He was one of the freshest looking guys out there and was
Mhm.
able to just crush it. And so, yeah, two running backs, guys you trust, knows the system. You have Charbonnet and you bring Kenneth back. I think it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah. And you mentioned the Steelers. I mean, this whole playoff run, he looked like prime Le'Veon Bell. I
Yes,
mean, to a T. I mean, just running, waiting on the blocks to develop. It would that just immediately my mind went to Le'Veon Bell. I was like, this dude looks just like prime Le'Veon Bell,
I saw a
and maybe you
comment
can get
that
another couple years.
said Kenneth Walker looks like he's literally walking through these holes because he does stop and like Le'Veon and wait and kind of step a little and then just shoot again.
Yeah.
It's
And they're
if
both Michigan
it's
State boys too, so they have the same kind of style.
the ball carrying vision, you don't see it that way for someone to approach the hole and just sidestep and kind of wait before they shoot and just the burst. You don't see it out of every single guy. It's a different, it's a one cut back. It's a different kind of back that you don't see.
Mhm.
So yeah, don't let him go. I mean, Seattle, don't do it.
No. Well, as a fan of a different team, okay, if you want
Go
to blow
ahead.
up your team, go ahead. Go ahead and do it and let somebody else have it. But, if I'm a Seattle fan, I want Kenneth Walker back at whatever his agent and him come up with.
Yep.
Like, hey, if they want 13 to 15 a year, I think he's worth it. And then give him more carries next year, and then you just have Charbonnet come in a little bit less. Maybe
Yes.
not cut into it too deep. Instead of giving Walker, 12 to 15 touches, maybe you're giving him 15 to 20, and then just up his load just a little bit, and then I think it could actually work in their favor because then if something happens to him, you got Charbonnet. So, and Charbonnet can be that guy too. So I think they got a great two-headed system, and it's going to be scary for the next few years, especially if they decide to pay him and keep him around.
Yep. I agree. I think that's all the Super Bowl talk. It was good. Oh, the commercials. I didn't want to forget. Did you see any commercials today that stood out that you thought, you know what, that was a pretty good one?
I was a big fan of the Instacart one when Ben Stiller just ate it.
Yes, that
And he
definitely made
did
me
that
laugh.
flip, dude. I was rolling, man. All of us were over here rolling. It was
Him
it
and
was pretty damn funny.
him and Benson Boone, and Benson Boone
Hmm.
has that famous jump, but he does it from like 6 feet off the ground. Of course, Ben
Yeah,
Stiller had to do it from about 30.
30. Yeah, slammed into that wall, threw a drum set, and then he falls off the stage to boot. So I mean, that was I would say that was probably my favorite of the night.
Yeah,
The Bud Light one with Peyton and everybody, of course, that was funny.
that was good.
But yeah, those two would probably be my favorites.
I feel like I remember better the butt clenching and all of Bruce Arians and his colon cancer
Yeah,
commercial. Dude,
yeah,
listen,
that was
I
good.
wasn't expecting it at all. And then you're just like a
Yeah,
bunch of tight ends talking about their tight end. And
yeah,
they're all, and I could tell like their butts were kind of puckered. I thought, oh, this is kind of a weird commercial. And then it
yeah.
goes to Bruce Arians, and he's just like, the colon cancer.
Okay,
And then it's
yeah.
like it allows you to relax, and then all these dudes' butts just start falling. I wasn't ready. I just start cracking up laughing. I was like, "Oh my gosh, these guys have no shame. They're over there clenching butt cheeks and dropping them for commercial."
Yeah, that one was pretty good too.
So
I mean, we're
I
a couple
liked them.
days out, so I mean, I've forgotten some of them,
Well, yeah. So the
but
ones that you remember are the ones that must have been the better ones. That's why I was asking because there was only a couple. I thought
yeah,
most of them weren't very good, if I'm being honest.
they were. I think they were better than last year's, but
Yeah, maybe.
as a whole. But I mean, there was some of them that were just annoying as hell.
Yeah.
The one where they were in that classroom singing stuff, it was like, shut up, just shut up. Nobody wants to see that stuff. Nobody's here for that. You did that for all the all the white ladies out there. But other than that, yeah, nothing really stood out as far as commercials go. But the other ones that we mentioned here were probably the top three for sure.
Yep. And I mean the halftime show some of the cool things that came out of it, like I know everyone had their political reasons and yes, no,
Yeah,
whatever. We should put it all aside. The
nobody
show
cares.
didn't end up being bad. There was nothing just overwhelmingly bad that was like, I can't believe he did that, or it was nothing like that. It was the same thing that you get most years, which I know, Jay, that you don't really watch them much anyway, but
I
it's the
haven't watched
same
a
kind.
halftime show in like 12 years,
Yeah,
13, 15 years.
you just don't feel like it. It's not really, you're kind of specific to your taste in music. So it's like, there's no, again, you didn't
Yeah,
have no political strong reason. Like it wasn't anything like that. You
I
just
didn't
don't usually
care.
watch it. That's the way it
No,
goes.
didn't watch Bad Bunny. Didn't watch the Kid
Yeah.
Rock Turning Point bullshit. I
No.
didn't really care because I haven't watched a halftime show since Prince did ours against the Bears.
Mhm.
That's the last one I watched, and that's still I think the greatest halftime performance of all time. Purple Rain in the Rain, dude. That was
It was
amazing.
cool. I don't think it was my favorite,
It
but
was
yes, it
really
was
cool.
cool.
It's
I think
definitely
a
my
different
favorite.
feeling because it was in Indy, right? So it's like a bias. That's
It
fine.
helps.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt it for sure, but I mean, it was just watching it rain and actually seeing him go through it and just saying hell with it. Well, of
Right.
course there was the nip slip one. That was kind of cool, but you had to go through a lot of bullshit to get to it.
Yeah, well, then you had a lot of not great Super Bowls after that because, like, thanks a lot, Justin Timberlake,
Yeah, Black Eyed
because
Peas,
they
appreciate
they
it.
gave us a lot of maybe like three in a row crap ones because they were like, well, who can we
Yeah,
really trust to not do that? So they kind of
Foo
blackballed all
Fighters
those.
or Metallica.
Yeah.
You won't worry
Anyway,
have to worry about boobs popping out for that.
so again, so he didn't wear a dress. He did sing everything in Hispanic and in Spanish. Yes, we didn't understand. We knew that going in. That's what makes the show not as good because if you don't understand the lyrics or you don't understand, it's just the sound. But when you
Yeah,
watched it, the visual stuff, it had good things together. It's like love over hate. He had a bunch of good messaging. He could have took these opportunities to do some really heinous political trolls, and he didn't do it. So he took the high road for the most part. He
well,
had this opportunity to do some really troll, heinous acts and dramatizations, but he didn't. He had people getting
yeah,
married. Literally, they got married. He had some engagement. He had a few celebrities doing their dancing, a lot of dancing, like you said, so much dancing,
mm-hmm,
so much culture. He's
mm-hmm,
talking about the power problem in Puerto Rico. He's telling a story. He's doing his
mm-hmm,
thing, which Kendrick Lamar did. Told his story of his kind of stuff, and it was great. And the difference is I actually listened to Kendrick Lamar zero before, and then I liked him so much because I understood, and I then listened to his stuff after. I was like, these beats are good. I like the vibe. These are good. But I'm not going to do that with Bad Bunny because I couldn't relate enough. The Spanish, I don't know what you're saying. Nunca's never, like there's only so many words I'm gonna know. And I
yeah,
couldn't vibe with it. And they all sound the same when it's Latin music and you don't know what they're singing about. So for me, I'm like,
yeah.
it just didn't hit. The trees, did you hear about the trees? 1,400 people were dressed as those trees. Try to employ the most people for his halftime show. They made $18 an hour for a 70-hour paycheck. $1,300 checks went out to 1,400 people to just walk out there and put in their right spot and be a tree and then just sit there completely still. I had no idea that as I watched that show that all these people were inside these like costume trees. I just thought they were actual trees or fake,
Mm-hmm.
renditions. So I just thought when you looked at all the stuff, it's like, okay, there was some cool things going on. And it's okay, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but there was nothing just this is like just you can't ever touch it. Don't let your kids watch it. Don't let you like it wasn't like that. It was just a show and and that's okay. If you didn't like it, then you didn't like it. That's okay. No big deal.
It's okay. No need to get butthurt about it. It's the same shit that happens at the halftime every year. Just somebody that 51% of the world likes.
he did
So
a
I mean they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
he did a great job representing Puerto Rico. He had Ricky Martin. I didn't exactly appreciate Lady Gaga. I'm like, you know what? You don't go there. Whatever.
I think we've seen her
We've
enough.
seen enough, but Puerto Rico was really well represented. They have a power problem even now. Their hospitals and the power from the hurricanes. It's like I'm glad that he's getting a message out. Again, yeah, it was fine. There was nothing glaringly wrong. Just kudos to him. I think he had a little bit of a high road. He could have went a lot further. I pictured a lot of things before, and he didn't do anything like that. That's how I've looked at it.
I'm sure Goodell had a little chat with him
Right.
pregame. Was like,
He
hey,
behaved. That's how I will look at it. He behaved.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll see some stuff come out about concerts from like the night before where he was all in dresses or something like
Maybe.
that, and then he's gonna bash everybody, which it's what he does. It's
Hey,
fine, whatever.
it's fine.
Everybody's got a voice.
But for his
So
15 minutes, he did the show.
he got it. Yeah.
He backing off the Super Bowl now. I believe. Well,
No.
who was that? Was that Phil that you sent me the clip? Was it Phil Collins? Is that who it was?
Phil Collins.
I know I'm saying the wrong thing because that's Genesis.
Yeah, bro, I sent you the Genesis videos in confidence. I didn't expect you
can't
to
think
go
of
all
his
out.
name.
No, it's Phil Sims.
Phil Sims.
No, not Phil Sims. Boomer Esiason. I always get those two mixed up.
Okay, so
but
it was Boomer.
Boomer
Okay.
Esiason. Yes.
So there you go. See, I do the same thing. Phil Sims and
Yeah.
Boomer Esiason. Okay, so Boomer Esiason. Boomer, yeah, whatever. He did a deal where he talked about the jock tax. Today is the first day that I heard about the jock tax, Jay. What?
Yeah.
Tell the viewers what the jock tax is. Tell them what you think about it.
All right. The jock tax is basically a tax on professional athletes who are lodging or working in California for a certain amount of time. So their tax rate, I mean, which is already ridiculous. California is one of the worst places to live as far as tax rates go. But what they did was both teams spent the whole week, 7 whole days in California, in San Francisco.
Super Bowl week, right? Yeah.
For the Super Bowl. And so what they did is they charged them 13% or something like that.
3.5%.
Was it 3.5?
3.5.
Okay.
Yes.
But he used the example of Sam Darnold, who got like $178,000 for being on the winning team, which all the players got.
Yeah,
all
game
the players
check
got.
of everyone got that check. Boom, boom, boom. Even the third guy that didn't play any.
Yeah,
78,000.
But what they did was basically made those bonuses irrelevant because they were there for 7 days, and you get charged tax for every day that you were there. And so Sam Darnold's check ended up being like 178 grand, but the charge for the jock tax was like 250,000, which wiped that completely away. And he actually ended up paying to play in the Super Bowl, which I'm sure that happened across the board. Even the New England players, I mean, they got the same rate, but they got less money because they lost.
So anyone that made probably 15 to 20 million a year, they probably ended out with a negative for playing in the Super Bowl because Darnold's at 28 mil. So if he gets a 250 for the 7, it's like, okay, so a 20 would be maybe 200, and like you're going down, and it's like, so there's a cutoff where you really actually can't make any money for winning.
Yeah, like some of these guys went home broke, or they went home, here's 178K for winning, but you're only going to take home about 5. I mean, practice squad guys may have gotten probably the best bargain out of it.
The guys that didn't play left with the most because their tax was so much lower that game check for 178 was like, keep most of it.
Man, shit, we're going to have some steak today. But
I mean, took 6 figures at home, bro.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. And if you think about it, I mean, the Super Bowl is in California again next year.
Same thing.
So it's like, why are you guys going here when this shit is that high? Like you are, and don't get me wrong, Sam Darnold is fine. He's not going to struggle. He's not going to go hungry.
Yes.
Okay. He's making plenty of money.
These guys can afford it, so pay
They can afford it. Yeah, but if you're looking at your middle tier guys who are still either on a rookie deal or, they're not making more than 10 a year, or they're not making more than 2 million a year, it's just, man, it's gut wrenching because your quarterbacks and your star players are going to get out basically unscathed, and it's not going to bother them at all. But if I was definitely like Boomer said, if I'm with the NFLPA, I don't know if I want to play any more Super Bowls in California until they can get that figured out, because they probably should take it to legislation there. It's like, look, you guys can't do this. I mean, I'm all for, paying, something, but I mean, that is just way too outrageous.
Hmm.
I don't have a problem, taking a certain percentage of the bonus money. If you want to sit there and say, okay, well, you get 178 grand for winning the Super Bowl, what's the California state tax? Just tax the bonus. Don't do the whole entire trip,
That's
because you
exactly
have
right.
to go there. You have to go there to practice. You have to be there. You have to be close so you're not traveling
Yes.
right there. And then you got media day and all that other garbage that comes with it.
Yes.
So,
I believe that is where they should be modify the jock tax right there. Exactly what you
yeah.
said.
And if you're not going to do that, then I think the NFL should probably swallow that entire week. The NFL is making billions and billions and billions every
Billions.
minute.
Yes.
So if I'm the NFL, if I'm requiring my players to be there for a week, to go down media row, radio row, whatever, be there for media, be there for practice, if I'm requiring that to happen, then I think the NFL should probably swallow that payment. If they can't get California to kind of play ball and be like, look, you can tax our bonuses that we give our players, that's fine. Instead of getting 178,000, okay, maybe they go home with 110. Okay, sure.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
fine too. Because for the practice squad guys and the lower end guys, that's probably almost a whole season worth of pay.
Yeah.
So give them that much at least. But they got to do something to kind of figure that stuff out, though. They got to get a better game plan than what they have right now.
I completely agree. I don't think that if a player is making 25 or 30 million dollars in Seattle, Washington,
Mm-hmm.
and he plays all his does all his work wherever his place sends him, he's doing all his stuff, and then because he ends up extending his work stuff, that it's like, well, we have extra things we want you to do that we actually don't have allocated in your salary, but you're going to get bonuses for these. And it's like, oh, cool, yeah, that's awesome. And then you do well enough and they're like, actually, you know what, we loved it, let's do another bonus if you do well again. And you just keep going, and then you get to the final and they're like, we're sending you to California, and if you do well there, you're going to get this bonus. And then the California says, oh, you know what, we want to tax your salary for the year. That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense to me. They had nothing to do
No.
with his salary in what he's done this year. They have no part in it. He doesn't even fucking play there. He is not a California resident. He does not work in California. He was there because his job sent him there for a week. So obviously the jock tax is there so that, well, they're going to use our resources. We got a finite amount of water. We got to tax for that. We got to prepare for that. You tax the bonuses that they're getting for what they're earning that week. Those guys earn that for the week they were there. They already earned their salary, and they never would have had to come to your state to earn that salary. That is exempt from this scenario. So I'm really disappointed that the NFL isn't protecting their players better. And it's not just on the union. The players that should be protected by Goodell should be protected by the ownerships, that they should not allow a state to gouge their athlete because they just, this state bid, San Francisco bid and won the bid for the Super Bowl. And then the athletes bring all that tourism to the city, and they bring all that money in there, and they have the gall to tell the athletes, the guys that are rich, you're going to pay $250,000 in taxes. You're kidding. Yeah. The guy that they're here to see, that's bullshit.
Yep. Well, it's not like they just do it for Super Bowl week. This is every single week where an NFL game or any professional game is played in the state of California.
True.
And there's other states that have the same thing, but I
they're
think
not there a week,
California,
right? They're there 2 days or something for the road
game.
They're
there for like a day. Yeah, they're there for about 24 hours, maybe a little bit more. But this is every professional sport, every game that's in California, and they're getting taxed for it. But I just think that whole thing I just think it's bullshit. I don't think they should be able to do that. If you want to tax your own teams for hosting a game, feel free. But leave the teams that are traveling to your state to play in a game that is going to bring you hundreds of millions of dollars.
So much money.
Fuck off. I mean, that's
greedy.
Just disgusting. At this point, it's just like, get rid of California altogether. Nobody really needs them. That's where like all the douches live anyway. So come on, man. I mean, that's just bad.
Small clip.
I'll do it right now. I mean, it's just, but I mean, it just goes to show you how ridiculous some of this some of this taxing stuff can do.
Yes.
You know, we look at it because we're nowhere near the echelon of these guys, you know,
No.
and we never will be.
No.
So I mean, we look at it as, you know, just your average guys making average pay, and it's like, you're charging me just to be there?
Just to be
Can
there.
you be any more douchey?
And what's bullshit
Get
too
out of
is
here.
there are people that are coming there, tourist wise, that are coming there to go to the game, and maybe some of them have been there a few days. And I asked
Yeah.
a coworker of mine, I said, you know, when you go to big cities like that, is there a tourist tax? And he said, actually, there are some places, some vendors and places in big cities, they actually have a tourist tax. And he told me, even though he's a big city guy, that he loves the city, he said, I avoid those places. He said, because that's gouging the middle class. And he's like, I don't
Yes.
approve of that at all. And he's like, where we did have the conversation, he does see where they're trying to recoup to help their infrastructure, and they're trying to make sure, okay, they pick a percent. Fundamentally, a percent for tax is much better than a flat rate, because the people at the bottom can't afford the same rate that the top people do. So a percent is fair, and it's the justification that you have to go off of. And when you use it mathematically, it always sounds absurd. And there's just
Yeah.
no way around it, because my 3.5%, and I'm doing the same thing, and then that guy comes over here and he's making way more than me. His tax is so outrageous. His tax is more than I'm going to make in a few years. And it's like, that sounds outrageous. We went and did the same thing. We went to the same places. We ate at the same restaurants. We went and drank the same food or the alcohol, whatever. And his bill is way bigger than mine because he's rich.
Yeah.
And so the concept of it, when you look at it mathematically, it is theft. It is theft. But from a fundamental tax standpoint for the country, we have to have percentages. And it's something you have to accept, because otherwise, if you had a flat rate, people would there would be so many poor poverty level people that the middle class would even be the poverty line. It would just be really bad. So that's how you have to have it, but it is mathematically crazy to look at.
Yeah, I don't want to hear them complain about their infrastructure at all. I mean, they got Silicon Valley, they got Hollywood, they got professional sports there.
Who's going to clean
Don't
the poop off the
tell
streets,
me,
Jay?
Yeah, nobody. It's still there. You know, so I mean,
If I'm
it's just
Darnold, I take a
ridiculous.
shit on the road.
I would have definitely left some DNA on that
a rival
sidewalks.
team, and then they get to go to another rival team next year, LA, if they possibly make it again. And it's like, you know what? You guys gonna have to have some bowel movements on these streets.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they do get charged when they go to San Francisco and they go to SoFi every year, that they get the jock tax thrown on them.
Yes, but it's like 2 days and not 7. Yeah. So people don't talk about it as much. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's making the rounds right now.
It is.
And I think there's going to be maybe there's some pro athletes who don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe there's some, other guys who don't know about it. But I'm glad that Boomer kind of shined a light on it and was just like, look, this is what's going on. Your starting quarterback for the winning team, basically paid to be there.
He paid $70,000 to win a championship.
To win the Super Bowl.
And so would he? I wanted to bring that up as the next question. Do we think that Sam Darnold would ever regret that? If he was told, for $70,000 you're going to be a Super Bowl champion, would he pay it? And then how high would he go?
Well, I'm sure he probably would have given half his salary to get a Super Bowl. Like a lot of these guys would.
You don't know how many times you're going to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure when you're making 28 or 35 million, whatever Darnold's making every year, it's just like, okay, so what? I'll spend that in bed sheets this year.
Yeah.
But, I'm just saying, like your middle level guys, the rookies and everybody, that's harsh. Yeah. It's really harsh. So you really got to look and maybe give some other states some chances, in hosting. So
the LA Vegas thing, I know Vegas has new stuff. We got WrestleMania. I'm a little over the California Vegas spurt that we're having on professional
Miami,
championships. I'm a little over it. I think we need to get a few different ones in there. I don't really care just anywhere else. It's been I appreciate the weather. I'm sure that the shows and everything they put on, all the things to go to, I'm sure that's awesome.
Mhm.
but I'm starting to have a little bit of just exhaustion from these
Yeah,
same places over and over and
there's
over.
still Phoenix, there's still Dallas and Houston. You know, you New Orleans. I'm okay with New Orleans getting one like every 5 years or so. You know, New Orleans is a good host city. Indianapolis actually knocked it out of the park when we had our only Super Bowl. You know, and a lot of people are like, I don't see how Indy hasn't gotten another one by now, and maybe we will here in the next few years. But yeah, as far as going to California all the time, it's old, and Las Vegas has lost its luster too. So I'm
Yeah,
sure there's a lot of other places that can host, and I know Buffalo and Tennessee are getting new stadiums. You know, Chicago is going to be building one probably in Indiana.
yeah,
So, you know, we'll see, but you know, when with this coming kind of light, and it's going to spread,
yeah.
and a lot of more people are going to know about it. And I think the NFLPA, if I'm the head of that, I'm like, yeah, we got to do something.
Hmm.
We got to do something.
Yeah, and it just to perspective this a little, just a guy that is on like his rookie deal doesn't really get to do much. He probably makes probably 400,000, and you're like, that's a
Maybe.
lot of money. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, 400,000 though, if you did 3.5% for 7 days, the bill would be 98,000. So now you're looking at like a quarter of their salary. So now they got their game check for winning, so they're going to still leave plus 70. But that's just
Hmm.
to show you how quickly 7 days is adding up, and the bill is getting so outrageous. It's like, wait a minute, like even if I'm doing the math slightly off and I'm supposed to carry a zero less, maybe it's only 10,000. At the end of the day, the amount of
Yeah.
money can add up day by day by day. So for Darnold to pay a quarter of a mil, to me,
Hmm.
that is again mathematically absurd.
Yeah. Yep. I do agree. There's got to be something better they can do.
And I have an interesting comparison for football specifically. So if you think about it, we're having quarterbacks, some of them are coming out and they're actually winning Super Bowls on their rookie deal.
Hmm.
So in this circumstance, like last year, Jalen Hurts, I believe, has been playing the last year of his rookie deal before he was playing on his new salary. Let's just say in this situation, Sam Darnold is in the last year of his rookie deal this year, and he's making 10 or 12 mil. I'm like, okay, it's the last year of his deal. He wins the Super Bowl this year, and then he gets handed that tax, and so half of it. Let's say he was handed like $100,000 tax this year. Okay, that sucks, you know. And then he gets a new mega deal, the type of big ones that are like 50 mil. He just won the Super Bowl, so if he was up right now, he would get a really big contract. Well, you play in LA again the next year. So imagine if you're a regular person doing your job right now and you move up in the company, or they see your talent and your potential and they say, we're going to like double your salary, we're going to triple your salary, and you go to the same business conference for 7 days that you went the year before, and the same hotels, the same restaurants, and one bill for that stay is 100,000. And then you get
Yeah.
Darnold, who gets this big pay raise, and say now he's in the 40 range. He's just 4 times his bill. He's going to pay $400,000 for the same restaurants a year later. That's the kind of mathematical absurdity I'm talking about. Is
Hmm.
anyone that has moved up in the world, anyone that has been here and now they're here, they've moved up in their business, but they're going to the same thing, the same places, and your bill is just way more. And it's like, that is price gouging. That
Yeah.
is
Oh yeah.
theft. There is no way around it, because you can't argue what you pointed out, the resources and the infrastructure. And it's like, but when I pay for something, I don't want to pay 4K the next year.
Yeah.
4K, the same thing, the same Ritz
Hmm.
Carlton.
No. No.
I mean,
It's
I'm just
terrible.
saying the is all you have to do is think of it from that perspective. If you ever got a pay raise, substantial, and then you went to do the same thing, you're like, I'm not paying this amount for the same thing. That is crazy. Oh, you want to go to Disney World? It's going to be 20K, but the next time you come, it'll be 100. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to do that. That's
Nope.
stupid.
Nope. Yeah. No. I kind of want the same deal I got last year.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'll pay 1.5 times, but 4 times is kind of retarded, so I'm not going to do that. And
No.
like you just said, I hope they just stop having them in California so often. I know you got a
Yeah.
couple places there, but you know what? Two teams share the same place, so by God, just every 5 years, one of them gets one. Don't do it more
Hmm.
often than that. Back to back. Come on, come on.
Yeah. And if they
Darnold's
don't
gonna
do something about it,
Darnold's going to end up getting got for $500,000 if he gets back to the fucking Super Bowl again next year.
Mhm.
$500,000 to California because you had so much to do with my success.
Yeah, it's because of you guys that I'm here.
It's the least I could do. California,
Yeah.
I love you.
I'd like to thank the Hollywood sign. I would like to thank all the poo on the sidewalk for allowing me to be here and just breathe in your wop of greatness.
Do you think he would be
But
loved in California more if he threw bras on the Hollywood sign like Sidney Sweeney did? Would that be
no,
better? Throw some
that's just
bras?
annoying.
It is.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it really
I'm sorry,
is. But no,
America.
it's okay. No, I think if I was the NFL, a player in the NFL, I would seriously be like, I'm not going. I'm not going to try my bet. If I know the Super Bowl is in California, it's like I don't know if I want to go. You know,
You already
if
see
we're playing in
athletes.
Dallas,
You
cool.
already see athletes in free agency. They take the tax thing to consideration. They're like,
Yes, they do.
that shit adds up. They're really gonna get me hard on this. Like they even talk about, Steven, anytime you're wondering about free agency and all that, they will break it down and they will show
Mhm.
like a $385 million deal in California is actually a 345. Like they will tell you that there's going to be like a bunch of money just gone off right off the top.
Gone right off there. Yep.
So
You're signing for 25 million a year, but you're going to be only bringing home 18.
yeah, they're going to take
So
a bunch. So
they're taking a lot of that money. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm surprised they even have freaking franchises.
it is pretty surprising. I mean, Stephen A's like, it's beautiful here. It's beautiful here. And honestly, when I read about the jock tax, I was like,
It's not.
is media for 7 days being taxed the same, or does the jock tax not apply?
No, it does
Shannon
not.
Sharp's over here going, it's beautiful. I love it here. It's some bull jive before, but now I love it here.
Yeah, well, Unc also has a lot of money in the bank, so it's okay. It's not going to bother him.
To be able to go talk sports and probably not be taxed, he's probably like, this is the life. Where have I been?
Yeah, it's like it's a hell of a lot better. It's a hell of a lot better than playing a candlestick. Yep.
Anyway, so let's transition a little bit into the college football world. I actually brought light to this a little, but we haven't really discussed it. The transfer eligibility, the teams and the players that are trying to get extra years for their guys. We saw just a little while back that Trinidad Chambliss was not given an additional year to participate in college football. So he now is forced to go pro, or do something where everybody else different, but he can no longer play at Ole Miss or college football. Now, but today, ESPN announced that a Montana linebacker was awarded his 9th year of eligibility. Now, I'm going to break down the numbers. It's because I think I know what they're mainly looking at here. Trinidad Chambliss, he played 4 full years in D before transferring for a 5th year to go to Ole Miss. So I think when they looked at it, they said 4 years in D2 plus a full in D1. They did not want to give him any more eligibility because they felt he played a lot of football. The flip side for the Montana linebacker, I believe his name's like Solomon, and then the last name is very Hawaiian butchering, so I'm not going to try. But anyway, he is, again,
something Usi.
Something Tumalawalawulao. He's like 26 now, right? Playing college football. And he has been incredibly injured. Some of the worst bad luck you've ever seen. You combine that with COVID. He started playing football in 2018 for the it wasn't even Montana. It was some, who was it?
Hello?
It was a big school. Damn, that sucks. Anyway, he went to a big school and he tore his knee up and he couldn't play, and he was there for a long time and couldn't play. He did not play a season of football until 2022 as a redshirt senior. So he didn't play any snaps. If you go and look at his stats, he did not play a single down for anyone until his final year at, again, can't remember the college that he played for 1 year. He then requests more eligibility. He's granted it because he only played 1 year. He's been now redone it a couple times. He's only played 3 seasons total out of the 8. He has been riddled with different surgeries, he's been not able to play, and they gave him what I'm expecting to be his final year of eligibility because he only has played 3 seasons, 22, 23, and then just now. So I look at that and I'm saying that I think the consistency of the NCAA is that they are just looking at how much football you've played. And that's why we're getting the
Yeah.
Brandon Whedons and some of the COVID things and some of these older players. What do you think, Jay? I mean, how do you think they should be looking on eligibility from that standpoint? How do you feel?
I think it needs to go back to pre-COVID, and because they've gotten rid of the COVID extra years of eligibility because of that. And I didn't throw too much of a fit when they were like, okay, we're going to give some guys who want to set out the season, we'll give them an extra year, maybe two of eligibility, just because they didn't know how bad things were going to be.
So it's like
They
they're
didn't
trying to
know
reward
where
guys
things were
for
going to go.
sitting like during the difficult time. Like
Yeah,
we're gonna give it back, we promise. So we are
yeah.
kind of finally getting away from that. I think now COVID's far enough away.
Yeah, and we're back to pre-COVID times. Everybody's out, nobody's wearing a freaking mask, and I don't think anybody will ever wear a mask again. But I think it was like, okay, if you're gonna make the hard decision to choose your health over the sport you're gonna play, then okay, we'll give you that extra year of eligibility. We'll give you basically a red shirt year, and I'm fine with that. I don't think college football, it should be a max of 5 years. If you have a red shirt year, okay, cool. Then we'll give you 4 more years to get your stuff figured out. You would hear it all the time, a fifth year senior. And that was about as far as it would go.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, regardless of injury, if you're unable to keep yourself healthy, then I think there's somebody's trying to tell you something. Maybe football's not for you. Maybe you should go out into something else. Just worry about your education and worry about getting degrees and then getting a better job once you get out. Focus on your career, because sports is definitely not it. If your body can't handle it, it can't handle it. Mine didn't, so I didn't do it. So that's fine. You'll just have to figure something out. It's just not the route that was destined for you. So I think they just need to cut all the shit. There's no reason why anybody should be in college football for 9 years. I get it. You feel it tugs on the heartstrings. The guy got hurt a lot and didn't play for 4 years. I get all that. But there has to come a time where it's like, okay, we can't just keep breastfeeding all these guys and giving them everything that they want. They're going to have to be cut off at some point in time and just figure out a different path, because this is just not the path that was meant for you. And it doesn't mean that you can't go and try out for NFL teams.
Yeah.
You can still do that.
And there's a spring football league.
Yeah. You go to the UFL, whatever you want to do. I mean, there are options. So if you're that hard set on it, then figure it out. Yeah.
Wait long enough and they're going to have like a legit Euro league over there or some small little thing over there, probably because of how often they go there. So, I mean, things are expanding in the football world. Do you think that you said fifth year senior? I think that is the accustomed thing. Do you also think you could piggyback off of it and give like an age cutoff to, whether maybe it's 23 or 4, where it's like, under certain, if they get started early, can they get an extra year because they went to college and they were actually still 17, so now they could get a 6th year? Or do you feel firm on the 5th year senior? Like, you feel like that is where you feel the cutoff should stay for just a 5-year period, regardless of injuries? So like no medical anything. Use your red shirt wisely. You're going to have one for medical reasons. You hold it, and if you don't end up needing it, great. Is that kind of where you stand?
Because there have been instances back in the day where guys didn't go to college right out of high school. Maybe they went to the military, or maybe they went and did something else first, and then they come into college, at 20, 21. But they still have all their eligibility left. But I would think if you're going to make it a cutoff age, I would say 25 at the highest. 24 or something like that, because
you don't want grown men playing, right? Is that the real meaning for it?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter, I don't really think. But once you get past 25, are NFL teams really even going to look at you? So, I mean, what's the point? But I mean,
now you're getting paid in college, so like, I don't know. It's like almost a job.
There's that.
And they can still get an education, because it looks like football may not be their professional job. So, yeah, I think that's what's happened is now that there's money, it's more complicated than it was pre-COVID, because we're in a different world than we were. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, sure, that's all well and good, but I mean, you still have every decade or so, you still have your guy who's 55 years old and goes to some JUCO school, and, he's 55 playing linebacker or something like that, which it's fun to read about. But really, what's going on besides, after that? what are the real expectations?
Yeah,
None.
I
Which I
agree.
mean, you go there just out of the love of the sport, and you really want to go experience it. Okay, then go experience it. But once you're done there, you're done.
I agree what you just kind of said. Like you get exemptions for certain things. So I think
Yeah,
military and maybe even religious, because we've had a few guys decide to go religiously down a path. I think you could have a couple exemptions to the rule where, like you
yeah.
said, you get a fifth year senior, but if you're a military guy that went 2 years military and didn't start till you were 20, now you can kind of go till you're a little older. So the age one probably doesn't need to be there. I think I agree. In most cases, I think everyone will be more satisfied with a 4 to 5 year spurt, regardless, and
Hmm.
no more than that. So my
No more.
question would be: when you hear the linebacker of Montana who's played 3 seasons, but he's like 26, and then you hear about Chambliss, he played 4 in D2, and he played 1 full year at Ole Miss. When you look at those scenarios, where do you fall for your own values for the sport? Do you feel yes, no for either, for both? For how would you do it if you were running it?
I would handle it the same way they're handling Chambliss. I would say, okay, if you played in D2 for 4 years.
Yeah,
Okay, I still that fifth year has to be the last. If you can make it, to a D1 school and they can roster you, you get your NIL, whatever.
yeah. I think that's the other
That's it.
exception, right? You can give an
Yeah,
exception since it's D2 to D1. I think that's our other exception you can put in, right?
yeah,
I agree.
yeah. If you switch leagues, then I think a maximum of 1 year. Just a maximum of 1 year. You can switch to a higher profile school. You can basically make your NFL tape that season, but that's all you get.
And I agree because now the landscape we're in now with the money, he could have got his degree in those 4 years. So it's not like
Yeah,
he could be just done taking classes pretty much. So you're
yeah.
coming here to basically have a tryout in the best
Mhm.
tryout league for the NFL that there is. Obviously, college football is a much farther ahead than the spring football league. So yeah, you're getting paid. You're having a tryout. You're taking your shot. And I think another part to premise is I think Chambliss is ready for the pro.
I do too.
I think he can go and land on a roster as a backup, and we'll see if he ends up being somebody in his career. I think he's going to go between round 3, 4. I don't know if he'll fall to 5, but I think I see him being drafted. He doesn't need to come back. His money would be better in college than it's going to be in the pros
Yeah,
this year, but I think he's
yeah,
ready.
yeah. I think he'll be fine. If he goes in the fourth or fifth round, so what? You still get to go out there and ball. You still get to go out there and have a shot to make a roster.
Yeah.
And that's all anybody ever wants.
Yes.
When they get out of college, they just want a chance.
Yes.
So go to the combine, do everything you can do there, get ready for that, and just give it your best shot at the combine. And then you're just going to have to hang your hat on that. If that's enough to impress a team, then hey, you did what you were supposed to do. If it's not, then hey, back to the drawing board. Maybe somebody picks you up for practice squad or UFL, CFL. I mean, there are options.
Yeah. So the Montana linebacker, in your circumstances, if you were in charge, you would have declined his eligibility.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it's, you go through so many years, if you're just injured for 4 years, it's like, I mean, what can you do at this point, man? I mean, go get it fixed. And then you can't just be sucking hind tit at the college level forever. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to move on and you're going to have to take an alternate route. Sometimes roads are closed, man. Sometimes they are. And you have to take a dirt road that you don't want to be on. But you got to give it the effort and you got to try. And I feel bad for the guy. I really do.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's just, man, you're kind of wasting your own time. You're wasting the college time, and you're taking a spot away from somebody who could probably use that to actually move on in their career. So I would just say, yeah, no. If you're not going to do it for one person, you shouldn't do it for another.
Yeah. To correct myself, he is 25 and he was USC. That's where he
He was at
was
USC.
he
Okay.
was USC, and he finally played a year, his redshirt senior year, the 5th year that you're referring to. He finally played, so he spent 4 years not playing, and he basically, under your premise, it's like, dude, that was your 5th year.
You had plenty
You
of
might
time.
have shown him grace and gave him that sixth, but like he's on 9, so it's like
Yeah.
it's tough.
No, I think it's at that time you just have to cut the cord, man. I mean, just you can't. I don't know because you set a dangerous precedence there when you do that.
And then it becomes unfair to others. It starts to become very difficult to
Where
judge.
it's just like it's just like coworkers and everything. Well, why does so and so get to do this and I can't? It's like, well, what are they doing? Shut up! It's not about them. It's about you. It's about you and me right now. So don't even go down that path. You know what I mean? It just makes things more difficult and more annoying than they should be.
Piggyback a little bit off that, there's been stuff going around with Bediako, who's a center. He was drafted and was sort of playing. He was mostly G League, and he was with Alabama. And he's like, I'm really not playing in the NBA. I'm not really getting an opportunity. My career is getting close to ending. Hey, can I come back to Alabama? And Alabama said yes. And he just came on back. He played like 1 year with them, I believe. I'll double check that while you talk on it too. But he played like
Yeah,
a year, and then he goes and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go pro, and this is so cool. I'm gonna be a pro." And then it's not working out, and then he comes back to Alabama. They did announce that they have now decided to decline his
yeah.
opportunities. So now he is now no longer playing for Alabama. Which, you know what? Honestly, I feel for him that he's actually getting kind of jerked around. It's like you got to be a little more definitive right out of the gate, or say we're going to have a hearing process or something. To like, I literally have him come back and then say no, never mind. It's like, man, you're getting pulled both ways. Like, what's your stance on it? You think with this, with the NIL, with the pros, the premise behind it too? The Europeans are considered professionals. Luka Doncic was a professional. They are allowed to go to college if they choose to. Certain guys do choose to go to college, and that's how you get like some foreign sounding guys that are stars in college that then go pro. Some guys do, and some go straight to the NBA. And that's the argument that a pro is not the actual reason you cannot go to college. And then so your eligibility is like, I still have eligibility, so I should be able to come back, right? So what do you feel about that?
My thought process is if you are drafted by an NBA team, whether it's to the G League, wherever, your eligibility for the NCAA is severed. And it will never be done again. Once you are drafted, you're done. That's it. That's why it's really really important for these kids to take the goddamn time. Just don't sit there and let people fill your head with bullshit. Oh, they're going to blow smoke up your ass. You know why they're blowing smoke up your ass is because they're going to want something from you. They're going to try to leech off of you your entire life because you're going to the show. So they want you to go so they can kind of start mooching off of you, bud. And this goes for the parents too. I'm not saying every parent, but there are parents out there who will use their children getting into the professional sports to improve their way of life. And we've seen it happen a million times. So you don't have to just let all that shit go to your head. I mean, you have to seriously, this is when collegiate players going professional need to be selfish. They need to look at it and say, what is the best thing for me to do? Is it best for me to come back to Kansas or Alabama, wherever the hell it is? Would it behoove me to hone my skills a little bit more, to get into better shape for one more year, get an extra year of experience? Or do I feel like my skills are high enough now where I can go to the league and not make an ass out of myself? I wish the kids would take more time, and I wish the adults that are around them would stop filling their heads with shit and say, oh, you need to go pro because I need somebody to pay my mortgage. I need somebody to pay my cell phone bill. Oh, you can take care of all that shit for me, right? Yeah, I mean, we're boys, right? We grew up together. It's stupid. And they get so taken advantage of. I wish that they would be more selfish earlier in life. Where it's like, this is my life. This is my body. This is my mind. This is what I'm the one who's going through and doing the hard work. It ain't you. Yeah, you may have raised me. You paid for jerseys. You paid for pictures. You paid for some of the schooling. But don't act like it ain't going to come back to you.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't act like that.
So to premise the statistics here, so get them out there. So he ended up playing 2 seasons. So he played in 30 games basically both times. His second time he played 37. Played them all, started them all. he only averaged 6 points, 6 rebounds, and he decided to go pro as a sophomore going in. And he decides to go pro, and he goes undrafted. Now, my premise is I think that if you don't get drafted, you should be given the option to return to school if they want you. I think that's where they're going to have to work some things out, possibly. And they used to, if you hire an agent, you're no longer eligible to play for college sports. But now that you get paid, that's not a thing. He goes pro as a sophomore, and he doesn't even get drafted. So what happens? He goes to the Austin Spurs G League team. He tears his meniscus. He's out. He goes out the rest of the time. He comes back. He plays for the Grand Rapids Golds, and he plays for the Motor City Crews most recently. He was then given an opportunity to come back to Alabama recently. He has played 5 games for Alabama. He started 2 games. He's 23 years old, and he was averaging in that time 10 points and 5 rebounds. Right away, he looks like he was contributing, right? He was contributing, and he's a 23-year-old that hadn't played for them for 2 years because he tried to go pro and it didn't work out, and he tore his meniscus. And it's like, that is a bad example of you giving them the opportunity to come back. He should have came back or tried to the moment that he didn't get drafted. And in my personal opinion, why is a guy sophomore for Alabama go 6-6 going pro? There's no one telling him you might not get drafted, and that wasn't enough to stay for a junior year at Alabama. What were you thinking?
Right.
What were you thinking?
And I guarantee you there was somebody in his ear saying, okay, yeah, you got this. You got the size. You're perfect to go to the league. Somebody was filling his head with shit. And they were just making it look like he was going to be living in luxury and gold forever in the rest of his life. He was going to make millions a year in the NBA. When the NBA just looked and said, dude, 6-6, get the fuck out of here.
There was a lot of guys
we can go to the local YMCA and get a dude that would give us 10 and 10 a night.
It's important
Come
to know,
on, man.
You're going against guys like a Luka Garza, who's like a 4-year senior at Iowa, averaging like 25 and 10, and the dude's going like 50th in the second round.
Yeah.
Because
what was he doing? What was he doing his sophomore year?
That's who you're going against in the second round. So if you're not this stud freshman sophomore that people are like talking about, like this is a prototypical center, you can't go pro and go against these 4-year seniors that they're going to go in the second round. He's nowhere near a Luka Garza type or something. Like, dude, you have to stay. You know, you do 10 and 5 as a junior. Even if you got hurt, then you got your senior year, you come back. He really could have got himself in a situation to get drafted, but he left so dang early and he messed it up. So
I think the NBA needs to go back to 3 years. They need to go back to 3 years in college, the way it used to be. Because you look in the late 80s, the mid 90s, even the beginning of the 2000s even. I would say before they started doing the high school shit.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you had your diamonds in the rough that came in from high school. Kevin Garnett, Kobe. You had your guys who were going to come out of high school.
And they were great.
You knew they were going to be great.
So, like, but how often does that happen? There's a Martell Webster and a Kwame Brown. Those guys, you started to see it not work. And then you're like, okay, let's go ahead and shut this down. It's like, well, but you struck gold so many times that you thought this is fine. And then until it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then you finally made a rule.
Yeah. And it's like, how good could they have been? You know, how good
college ball?
How good would Kwame Brown could he have been?
Yeah.
If he went 2 or 3 years maybe out of Duke, because he could have gotten to any of the blue blood schools he wanted to. That kid
he was a sensation from high school. He would look like he was going to be a big deal, and then he goes pro because he did look that level. He had Kevin Garnett type of comparisons.
Yeah,
but
he and I guarantee you he would have had an NBA career. He probably would have had a good, solid 10 to 12, 15-year NBA career had he just gone to school. But like I said, the kids now, man, they are just so naive and stupid that they will just listen to anything anybody gives them a little bit of praise. I mean, I dig confidence, but there's a difference between confidence and ignorance.
We can go look at mock drafts now. You got to have good advisors to really be honest with these kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe we should get into like, you know, agencies and stuff. I couldn't lie to a kid. I would just be like, dude, look.
How guilty I would feel.
Like, look,
I don't want to be wrong.
Okay, yeah. You went to so-and-so high school. You averaged 35 points a game. You know, you're great. you're a great basketball player, but then you go to Alabama for 1 year and you give them 5.5 points and 3 rebounds a game, and you're playing 12 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, ew, as a freshman, ew.
Yeah.
That's gross.
You're just
I was
playing
like, no,
20
you're not
minutes
going
out of
anywhere.
40. What are they going to
Yeah.
see out of you in that time frame?
Yeah, you're playing half the game and you're getting 5 or 6 points a game, a couple rebounds. Yeah, you might have your 10 or 12 point game here and there.
Yeah.
But no NBA team is going to look at you if you score less than 18 or 19 in college. They're just not.
I agree. And I mean, you can try to bump him up and be like, well, if he was a 30-minute guy, he might be doing 10 and 10. And it's like, but he's not. And why isn't he? And why isn't he? Is he got a stamina thing or a motor? Like, what's his deal? And they're going to, dude, the scouts are going to pick you apart, man. They're going to pick you apart. They're going to look for every single thing and reason why you can or cannot succeed. You got to set them up for better success. And I feel for the kid. It's not cool. He probably could have been a solid athlete and player and maybe had an NBA career. And he just wound up kind of probably getting bad advice and jobbing himself out of his, and it's like, that sucks, man. And you hurt yourself the first year you're playing any pro ball for a G League team. And it's like, that's what they worry about as a college player. And it's like, well, it's the same applies to a G League. If you're not going to get drafted, there's no guaranteed contract there. You're not guaranteed nothing.
Nope. You might get a little bit of money. You ain't getting no guaranteed money, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I see kind of the same thing, the kind of same scenario here for Darren Peterson in Kansas. When he set him, basically, I know Bill Self told him he was going to not play because he was like, hey, are you too sick to go? And he's like, yeah. It's like, all right, well, I would rather you sit than to not be 100%. I mean, they got Arizona coming in. Granted, they won the game anyway.
They won it anyway. Shout out to Kokomo Wildcat. Flory Badunga as a sophomore. Please stay with Bill Self. Please don't go early. At least
1 more year.
You wait until your mock drafts and your NBA prospects start to show first round lottery. Then you can start to have a conversation. But honestly, dude, stay in school.
Yeah, I mean, he's got perfect. He's got perfect size, man. I mean, he could be so good in the pros, but he's a really good player right now.
I cannot wait to watch him in the tournament because he's going to be fun. It's going to
be great. Yeah, I'm rooting for him.
Yep.
But not Kansas, obviously. But I'm rooting for him personally. If they do good, it means he's doing good.
They go together like butter. I mean, that's just how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I hope he does well. I hope he has a good tournament. But I would like to see him stay at least 1 more year. Get that. Just build more fundamentals. It's not. It will never hurt you. So, but yeah, Darren Peterson, man, he's missed a couple games this season, and it's been against some pretty good teams. Like it's almost like he's afraid of what he may look like. A good team just might be able to shut him down. And I'm not dogging the guy, really. I mean, because he could beat me senseless. I don't care.
In basketball,
but probably in life too. But yeah, I mean, you never really truly know what somebody's got going on between their ears because you can't be in there.
You're just speaking as your scout brain. You're not
from the outside.
You're saying
this
is how it could look.
Scout brain in it, yeah. So I mean, but when you kind of see that, it's like, man, I don't know how sick he was, but I mean, how many flu games have we seen? If you're really weak and you're throwing up, yeah, stay the fuck off the court. But if it's just like, man, I can breathe all right, I'm just maybe a little light in the ass, maybe don't play me 35 minutes, maybe play me 20.
Yeah.
Something like that. Let me give it a go in the first half. We'll see what happens. But it's just, it kind of looks bad. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a dick or anything. But as far as like outside optics, it just looks a little rough because it's been, like I said, if it would be against like JUCO teams, he sets out, okay, fine, whatever. But when it's like Arizona, I think Duke was another one. It's like, come on, dude.
I get it.
At some point, it's a pattern.
Yeah, I get it. To talk just briefly about your boys here, the Michigan Wolverines are back. They are
Yeah,
21, 22 and
I can
1.
start being a Michigan fan again.
Number 2 in college basketball, the top Big Ten team. And
About
that's
to be
saying
number
a
one.
lot because there are some top heavy Big Ten teams that Illinois, Nebraska,
Yeah,
you
they
didn't
just
see
reloaded.
Nebraska coming, right? And so, and then of course
No.
Purdue's good, but I think that they have some flaws. That doesn't mean they can't be a difficult Sweet 16 type out this year. They have a lot of smart players. Braden Smith's final year, unless there's some eligibility bullshit, but I think
Yeah,
it's his final year.
he's done.
So, there's some top teams, Big Ten, that are battling it out. And at Michigan State, I didn't even say them. There's 5 that are really in there. So
Don't
it's
get
going
me
to be,
going about little brother.
I'm just saying, Izzo is obviously one of those dogs. He's one of the best coaches.
Yeah.
Arizona getting beat by Kansas really changed it to some degree. Houston, you got some of the same teams you're used to. We're going to have some Duke, North Carolina. I think this year, the college basketball landscape, dude, it's going to be really fun as we can get all of
Mm-hmm.
the top talents for the NBA draft in. I've always hated the years where Ben Simmons couldn't get LSU in, and I'm like, that's a telltale
Yeah.
sign he's not the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I hated seeing stuff like that happen. But if we can get Devonta, Boozer, Darren Peterson, if we can get them all in the tournament and high seeds, like top 4 or 5 seeds, it's like, I love that. I want to see the top NBA talent. I want to see the top the college teams. I want to see the full senior and junior classes for some of the small schools to upset. St. Louis has only 1 loss. Like, I like seeing all those different layers, and it looks like it's shaping up to give us everything that we're going to want yet again. College basketball, March Madness. We talk about it every year, Jay. Are we going to get snips so we can be home and watch all of it, or what are we doing?
This might be the year to do it.
We always say we're going to get snipped together, put some peas on our balls, and we're going to
Yep.
stay home from work and
Stay
watch
home.
it all.
Yep. Just be on a video chat the whole time. Yeah, I mean, I think this year might actually be more top heavy as far as when it goes to the tournament. I think the 1s and the 2s are gonna chalk it most of the way, but there's so many teams, even at the bottom of that top 25, that can beat anybody any night. So when you get to your 3s through the 14s, those games are all going to be, I don't fucking know. It could be any team. Any team could win it at any point. But I actually watched that Purdue Nebraska game last night. Dude, Purdue had that game running away in the first half.
Yes.
They were up by like 16, 17. And if Nebraska's dude doesn't slip and fall, which Court Gate is, I'm probably going to come up. I don't know whose kid threw a drink on the floor, but yeah, if he doesn't slip, dude, they were monsters in the second half. They could just score almost whenever they wanted to.
Yeah.
So any of those guys are going to be threats. Any of them could make a deep run. But if you got to go to a 1 or a 2, I don't know about that. But that first round, I think this year is going to be fucking crazy.
I can't wait. And hey, shout out to IU basketball because they are playing pretty good.
Yeah.
I think they're playing pretty
good.
They
might back in.
We might get us in there. I'm checking the record. I haven't seen it for a week or so. We're 8-6
or 17-8.
17-8
overall.
So we're playing ourselves right there. If we can be like 21-9, like if we can get in that spot, we gotta have to have a good Big Ten showing. We can't just go one and done kind of. We got to do something a little. But I've seen them play some teams and actually pull out late. I feel like they've had a little bit of clutch to them this year. So, is not DeBoer, because that's Kalen DeBoer from Alabama. What's DeVries? DeVries and his kid, Breeze, however it's pronounced, they have been really good. Hopefully it's not a 1-year thing, but I think that it would be nice to have IU get in the tournament, maybe get them as a 10, just see what they can do. You never know.
Yeah. I don't think that their regular season record is going to be enough because they got some tough games coming up to finish.
Yeah.
But I think I actually would look for them to make a good run in the Big Ten tournament.
It all depends on matchups too, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, things have got to fall right for them. But I would think that they would probably, maybe a bold take, but maybe they get to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. and that might be enough
If you can get
to
two
get them off the
wins,
bubble.
you
But
get 2 wins in the Big Ten tournament.
2
That
would be
might get
helpful,
them.
but you don't want to be at 10 losses.
I agree.
Going in
Like
and have
22
to
and 10 is
depend.
that dreadful first in, four
Yeah,
out type. Oh, like, ah.
yeah. So
Or they get the
I would
play in,
want
right, on
to.
Tuesday and Wednesday, and you're like, ah, fuck.
No, I know that's basically a loss anyway. But yeah, they if they can get in, 23-9, something like that, then maybe that's good enough. I think if as long as you're under 10 losses and you're in the Big Ten, then I think that's good enough to get you in the tournament because the Big Ten is actually
They're good this year.
way up there. They're
And,
so
dude,
good.
DeVries, he felt this pain last year with West Virginia getting snubbed. Well,
Yeah.
like when they got the committee in there and the North Carolina guys in there, and he's like, I'm gonna see my way out. And then everyone still picks North Carolina. It's like, we know what happened. They weren't gonna have him come back in and say, we picked West Virginia. Fuck you.
What happened? What did we decide, fellas?
It looks like they got it right because North Carolina won a few games in the tournament. It kind of was like, well, West Virginia, do we really know if they would have done that? And it's like, okay, that it worked itself out. And so people can, table the conspiracy.
It made him look good.
We don't want to be on that bubble because, he felt the pain. And it's like, well, how we think it's going to work out this year? Either they're going to feel bad and be like, okay, you can come in this time. Or they're going to be like,
what ifs always suck.
Or they're going to be like, you know what? Fuck you. You're not allowed in here. You threw a fit last year like a little girl. So we'll see.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Moving on to the professional ball, and I have to pull Jay's leg a lot on talking pro ball. He doesn't like it. He doesn't
I do not like the NBA.
I was real quick. Do you think if they fixed what a travel is, it's the same thing with NFL with what is a catch? If they could just these guys aren't actually traveling. It's actually a fundamental basketball thing that I have. That's I think's the problem. The pivot rule has been altered over the years, or it's like less clear now. Now you have what's called step throughs and things, and it's changed your 2-step, 3-step. You have gather. You have this situation where you can gather and have your hand on the side, so you don't have it yet, and you're starting to gather. Oh, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. Okay, now it counts, right? As soon as your hand goes under. Then now they start counting, but you've took 3 steps with no dribble because you're like holding it, suspending it, and then you kind of finally gather it into a hold, and then you get your 1 step, your 2 step. Then they can pump fake. If the guy goes up, then they can step through off the pivot to go in, and I'm like, dude, the guy had like 7 steps. So they've got that problem. I think the NBA, you don't see that in college because these guys are still being taught fundamental basketball. I think the NBA or someone's got to step up and just define these travels. We don't want certain things happening. I think specifically just take the step through out. And it gets back to we have to accept these gathers that are hard to determine. But the step through is like fundamentally a travel. You pull it off your pivot foot and it's a travel. I think if they did that, the NBA would become more watchable. What do you think?
Yeah, just make traveling a 4-step thing. Who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many steps. They're not going to call it, even with every crew. It's just like the NFL. It just depends on what officiating crew you get for that night. Did they stub their toe on their way out, or did they get, pictures of their wife with another dude? Something's going on where they just want to be a bitch that night. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. Just take traveling out. I mean, take as many steps as you want. You're going to do it anyway, and we're not going to call it because we don't care. We're making $1 million fucking a dribble.
Yep.
So,
they don't even dribble. So if you told them that they made money for the more dribbling that they would do or the less steps they took on the gathers, it's like all of a sudden it's fixing itself.
Just make up a bucks per dribble stat, Man, I'm getting paid to dribble. Maybe I won't travel.
The games would get somewhat like low scoring because they'd be dribbling till the last few seconds of a shot clock.
Yeah.
Let me get them dribbles in.
So stupid.
Let me get these dribbles in.
Yeah.
The fall. The 5. But what about What if the fouls? Do you think the fouls are the more egregious problem in the NBA? Which one would you pick more? The way they call their fouls, or the way they call the travels, or the non-travel? They don't
I
call it.
just think it's blatantly obvious that they have players that they're going to favor calls for. I mean, they have that right now. I mean, Shea is obviously a guy that they're going to call because I mean he drives, he goes in, and he's got flopping down to a science to where it's like I can look at a replay and be like, well, maybe he did get pushed a little bit. I don't know, but most often it's bullshit. So you got your guys who are going to the line 15 times a game, and it's like there's so many stoppages. It's like, why is there? When you get into a game, you get like 5 straight minutes of play. It's like, all right, getting into it. Oh, we got a foul. Son of a bitch. All right, now TV timeout. Well, son of a bitch.
So I think that part of it, the way they call the offensive fouls, I think that what a lot of professional athletes are doing, this like the Dwayne Wade rule and the James Harden rule, they were supposed to put it in here, and I'm even reading right now. The NBA allows offensive players to initiate contact, but the rules prohibit actions that are considered basketball moves. So they are trying to determine whether you are pushing off using a stiff arm or launching into defenders at abnormal angles. And then it goes on to talk about, a non-basketball move. They kick their leg out, weird angling, leaning into a defender, using your off arm. And then they talk about lowering the shoulder into a defender with a lower shoulder can be called an offensive foul, although it is sometimes missed. And I think that that's what they need to buckle down on. In my personal opinion, the offensive player's initiation of contact, it should be seldomly called as a foul. We're talking, I think, like 10% of the time that they should call a foul on the defender, because if an offensive player is choosing to drive in and he's lowering his shoulder and then he's going to flail, that is not a foul. We have to eliminate that from the game. The NBA needs to go back in. As of right now, I think Adam Silver is the worst commissioner in pro sports right now. I thought he was doing a good job, but over these last few years, he's been trying to fix things, and I think he's been making things worse. Now you got guys like Giannis and everyone complaining about their 65 games and the All-NBA list. So, like, it's altering who gets All-NBA awards and whether they're eligible. And it's like he's been trying to fix a problem, but I think that his ideas have actually made things worse. And the things that people are talking about, free throw merchants, it's like, he's not fixing the things that the fans really want fixed. He hasn't fixed tanking. He hasn't fixed sitting on the sidelines when you're healthy. Guys still have rest days. He hasn't fixed anything. I think he's the worst commissioner in pro sports. I don't dislike the guy, but I just don't think that his grade is an F.
Yeah. At least over the last 2 or 3 seasons, it's definitely an F. I wouldn't call him the worst. I think he's still better than Rob Manfred in the MLB.
I think that guy's done way better. That's just my opinion. Baseball is better than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, maybe as of late, but I mean, he's still done some dumb shit. So I mean, maybe you have them F- and then F. I don't know. But yeah, the NBA's definitely gotten to the point where it's unwatchable. And I would be sitting around, the 2016, 2017, 2018. I was watching NBA quite often. Especially when it gets to playoff time, I'll start watching a game here and there.
The drama is still good. The stars are still there. The NBA still has everything that they need. I just feel like it's not being ran well.
It's not. It is a bit of an officiating problem and just the way that players are being coddled. It's gotten so soft. I mean, it seems soft anyway.
We've had so many brawls, right? And we were talking about it before the show. They're not even brawls.
Fights.
Call Indiana and the OG Detroit Pistons, and that's a fucking brawl. Like, these ideas.
How many fans did you knock out?
They're like, well, we had 2 brawls yesterday, and a week ago we had 2 brawls the same night again. It's like, oh, yeah, you've had 4 brawls. You've had 4 slap fights.
Yeah.
But with a bunch of anger. They're angry.
Yeah. Well, now the players are wearing bras under their jersey.
Just there's punches thrown, and there's like these chaotic things, and then there's what you've had lately, and those are just pushing, shoving matches that went for an extended period of time that had a lot of hateful words back and forth, and that's pretty much it. Because Isaiah Stewart, he got a 7-game suspension because he was sticking up for his teammate Duran. Duran gets in a fight with one guy who's just lost his mind. He's so pissed. and he's over in the sidelines, and Duran's finally getting pulled away after all the trying to push each other. And then fucking
Mhm.
Miles, I believe is Miles Bridges, he comes over there to fight Duran. He didn't have nothing to do with it, but he come over there to fight him. And so what does Isaiah Stewart do? He comes running up off the bench. He's like, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. So then he gets the most for leaving the bench and basically fighting. But I'm like, you know what? I'm with Isaiah. He was sticking up for his teammate. His teammate was all the way away from everything, and some other
Yeah.
guy is coming up to fight him for the second time. So yeah, I'm sticking up for my teammate. That guy's going down. He had him in a headlock.
Yeah.
He was sitting here. That was the only one that got any licks was Isaiah. He was just like bow, bow. So like those aren't really brawls, but they were a fight. It was a fight, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I see Duncan Robinson doing the white boy thing and just looking back like, yeah, whatever.
Dude, he's like, and you can see him
got
do
off
this
the
like,
floor.
and he just walked off.
Yeah, I'm not about to be a meme. I'm just walking to the bench. So about fuck you guys, do your thing, whatever.
But going into that now, so we got USA versus World this week in the All-Star. We have All-Star Weekend. They're bringing back some old school stuff. I think Saturday night will still be a little fun, right? And then they've got the game has changed. So Jay, what do you think about the game now?
This is a move that Silver made that I like.
I'm hopeful that it's gonna
USA. Yeah,
if they don't play hard
now,
though.
We're such a melting pot.
Yes.
And dude, I will tell you, those European guys are very competitive. They don't give a shit. They deep down, they all want to beat America because they grew up hating us in basketball because we would just swipe everybody up. But the European guys for sure are really good. They're up there with every good athlete that we put into the NBA. They're just as good. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a pride thing between the guys. You know, I think the world team is going to win big, but I think that maybe that'll spark something, a rivalry here. It's like, all right, Dick, for this weekend, you're mine.
This is the confusing part, though. So when we first thought it was launched, and maybe you still think it is not actually just U.S. versus World. It is a 3-team round robin. So that's where it gets confusing. And so now I need to research it a little more to understand its format. It says a round robin tournament consisting of 2 U.S. teams and 1 international they call Team World. So this shift highlights the rise of international talent. The format's 12-minute games culminating in a final. The 2 teams of U.S. players and the 1 team of the world will compete. I just don't understand when they say round robin. Maybe, Jay, you have the idea of what they're going to do. How are they going to do this with 3 teams? That's where I'm a little uncertain.
Well, maybe it's just a team, and then you got another backup team kind of going back and forth with each other. If it's a round robin, I don't see why you would play the USA teams against each other.
Right. Should they have just taken like 8 U.S. and 8 world guys and put them on each team head to head?
Maybe 10
or 10 each, and then just put them head to head. Because the normal format,
I would like to see that.
You get 10, 11, 12 East. Usually it's, I think, 12 East and 12 West. So shouldn't they have just still done that, but it had been USA versus World?
I think that would have been a better thing to do.
Or are they worried about backups playing and like having everybody, like everyone gets some tick or something?
Yeah, I think it's basically because it looks like one team is like old vets and then the other one is like up and comers. So it's almost like, okay.
The young U.S. versus the old U.S. versus the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, in that circumstance, the world's going to dominate, you'd think.
Yeah. The unks and the nephews versus the world, man. Maybe that's what it is.
Team Stars, Team Stripes, Team World. They all have 8 players.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, I didn't know it was going to be a round robin kind of thing.
Exactly.
I just thought it was going to be a head to head.
I thought so too.
But all right, maybe Adam Silver's a cock after all. Because I mean, that seems to be a pretty easy premise.
Or why wouldn't you have 4 teams in tournament style? Young world, young US, old US. You see who comes out. You do it however you want to do it. We get a young and versus young, old versus old. Whoever the 2 come out play in the final, and you could always have different ones every year. The fact that they do 3, I'm just lost. I'm lost.
I am too.
I don't get it.
I don't know. Like it doesn't even sound interesting now. But I mean, Saturday night. I mean, the 3-point contest is usually something that I watch.
Yes.
I usually will give the dunk contest a try, but if that first round is trash, then I just shut it off. But I mean, Mac McClung, he's been keeping it interesting.
Here we go. I found the format, the round robin. So game 1 will be the U.S. Stars versus World. Game 2 will be the U.S. Stripes versus game 1's winning team. And then U.S. Stripes will also then play game 1's losing team. The top 2 teams will then play in the championship. So we will have basically 4 12-minute quarters, and each quarter will consist of 2 different teams playing head-to-head, and the best overall 2 teams will then play each other in what you would say is the 4th quarter. So yes, in a 3 games with 3 teams, they all play each other once. 2-1, 2-1, whoever. I don't know how they're going to figure out the tiebreaker, whoever it works out, but yes, that is how they're going to do it. That is how they decided it. Again, this is why I'm telling you that Adam Silver has been close with no cigar for years now. So
that basically took it out of me. I don't think I'll be watching anything Sunday.
Hold on, okay.
That just sounds painful.
Before we're done here, so let's name the team. So we'll just say, who do we think's better? This first team, we have Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Johnson, Tyrese Maxey. We're going to do the other U.S. team because I think that's how we'll compare best. So now the other U.S., Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Donovan Mitchell, Norman Powell. I think I like the first team better.
I do as well. That's about the best young crew you could put together right now.
That young crew feels like they're studs.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
I mean, that's just how I look at it. But the second crew, full of a lot of experience. I mean, Steph and Kevin Durant, LeBron, like I get it. They're all studs, obviously. It's just my feeling that the first team,
they're not going to take it seriously.
They're prime guys. I think that I like the first team. So now let's go to the last one, the world. Giannis, Denny Adveja, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns, and Victor Wembanyama.
That's murderer's row, dude.
That's MVP. MVP.
Oh my God.
MVP. You know what I mean? Like, guys, Giannis and Luka and Shai and Nikola Jokic, those are 4 of the best, 7 players on the planet. And they're on the same team. So, yeah. Pascal Siakam, they're going to get it. They're going to win.
I'm so glad he got in there, man.
He's been balling out in a difficult circumstance.
He's been really good this year. But, I would take this team against anyone. It wouldn't really matter. To me, it could probably be a really good game or a quarter against the Stars team. I think that would be competitive, but I would still pick the world to go.
Do you think that
the Stripes team, dude, none of those old asses are going to take this shit seriously?
Do you think
they're not going to do anything?
That the best way you could possibly motivate any of these NBA players is this idea of how they put each other against each other? Is this idea hold some merit? Is there a better idea for getting them to play at least 80%? Like, is there another one out there that you like better? Or is World versus USA the best idea you've seen?
Man, you know what I would rather see rather than to have the LeBrons and the Durants and the older players who have don't take this out of context. They have given themselves to the league for a lot of years. Okay, they have paved the way for a lot of guys to be in the league and to make the money that they make. You know, these guys have nothing to be ashamed of. But when they come to this all-star game, they're not coming to be competitive. They're just coming to not hurt themselves. So, but man, you watch that up-and-comers game every year, that Friday night that they usually have. Out. It's great. It's a great game. It's a great game to watch, dude. So I would say the winner of the Rising Stars game plays the world every All-Star Sunday. That's the way I would put it, because they're not putting them in a back-to-back. It's just like it would be, but because they still get a break after things are done. But I would almost say that's the way I would rather see it. Don't make the veterans play because you know they're not going to give their all. They're not going to risk the money. They're not going to risk anything. Keep the old guys out of it.
Do you think the dynamic of like David Goliath or like this like idea of like an upset, it almost would motivate? Like the world wouldn't want to lose to the young up and comers. And the young
Yeah.
up and comers just like we kind of want to like fucking upset these guys. Like obviously we're not supposed to win. So do
Yeah.
you think that that gap is what would help motivate some competition? That gap
Well,
of
maybe
talent a
like
little.
maybe if you make Stars team play the Stripes team on Friday night, and the winner of that game then goes to play against the World on Sunday, whatever. Or if you just wanted to have a coin toss and see who gets a bye to the Sunday game, or who, whatever. But I would almost rather see that, like maybe have a Kevin Durant as one side and Kawhi Leonard is the other team. You draft your up and coming teams from the pool of players that we're going to put in. Draft your teams, play each other head to head, and the winner of that game goes to play against the World, and the captain can play. So you'll have a KD or you'll have a Kawhi on the floor with the Rising Stars, and that would maybe motivate them. But
Yeah.
I would almost rather see that happen.
Do we think that the one thing this generation of vets has done is they've set maybe a bad example for the up and comers because Tyrese Halliburton and Ant. So last year we had the All Star game in Indianapolis, and Ant Edwards he decided that he only was going to shoot shots with his left hand, and it's like okay, not taking it seriously, and this is a young guy. Halliburton, he made comments as far as just like, oh, if I see Damian Lillard shoot this 50-footer, he's like, I kind of want to try it too. Is in my hometown, kind of, and it's like that sounds like they're setting a bad example. Would you blame that on them too? You think the vets?
Yeah, because it goes back to being pampered. They're taking care of these guys, and you could call it giving it back to them for doing what they've done. Because a lot of those guys have gone through shit. They've busted their ass to get where they are. But you got to give the 10+ year vets the choice to go to the All-Star game. Do you want to be here or do you not want to be here? If you don't want to be in the game and you just want to sit in the stands and watch the game and be entertained, then okay, do that. But I would say anybody who's been in for 10 or more years, give them the option to play or not. And if they choose to, then great, you do what you can. But anybody 10 years and under, sorry, if you get voted on, you get voted on and you got to go. I would have them definitely play the rising teams. I mean, that seems to me that's the only option that they can do at this point. If they're going to do this kind of jag-off shit, it just doesn't make any sense to me. They could have come up with a better plan. They make so much money. They should be able to have people who are smarter than this.
So I look at it as like the
know.
NBA is just usually a little bit behind on things, and so like you see with the NFL is so aggressive. The Pro Bowl has just disappeared basically, right? And we saw it coming years ago. They're not going to try very hard because it's pretty violent.
No.
You had this like, well, the Super Bowl teams aren't going to go. And so these guys, this is their last game, and it's like, but they're not playing for anything that's really a big deal to them. You get a vacation to Hawaii, which they now have moved it to like Miami or Vegas. Like they've been moving it a little. The Pro Bowl's disappeared. I think it's going to be done. Would you say for the NFL, people are probably more interested now in seeing skills competitions where you see throwing competitions, 40-yard dashes or certain, relay race, baton. You want to see the guys do something that shows off their skill, their speed, their IQ. You don't even want to see the Pro Bowl, and I don't actually want to see dodgeball either. I think it's kind of stupid. Do you think for the NFL that you want to see the skills competitions? You want to see an obstacle course? You want to see throwing challenges where you're like, man, fucking Darnold was on the money. Like I didn't know he could be that accurate. Like, is that what you want to see for their All-Star Prime thing? Is just their skills to expand that properly? Is that what you see for the NFL?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I that used to be the best part of Pro Bowl weekend.
Yeah.
When you would have, Peyton and the guys throwing at golf carts with targets on them.
Yeah. I think so.
Or, even back in the, he had when they were doing their skills competitions, fastest man or, anything like that. But yeah, watching the guys do tug of war and dodgeball anymore is kind of weak. So I would just say, just go back to having a skills day. Don't do dumb shit. Just, hey, do you want to come try to be the fastest guy who we could get to come here?
We like a combine with more flair.
Yeah.
Something like combine, but like just a little more style, a little more flair, a little bit like upping the ante. Just I like some of the diving catches they try to do with like the landing on something. Like you're gonna have to just kind of focus on making those spectacles something to watch. For the
Yeah.
NBA, does that mean they should just understand the All-Star format is also dying, and they should just have their All-Star Saturday night be their main thing, because that one still does pretty well. I know people can get a little dunk contest and everything. I think they should be doing like, what did you grow up watching? Like horse. Like as a kid, you played horse. To have them have a few stars play a game of horse to be in for it. The shooting stars competition, the obstacle course they do, the 3-point shootout, the dunk contest. Like, should they just lean in on the skills games and also dismantle the All-Star game too? These guys don't want to
Yeah.
try too hard and hurt themselves. It's clear that none of these athletes want to put themselves in harm's way.
Yeah. I don't even necessarily hate the flag football game. But if you're going to do the Pro Bowl as flag football, then you just put that shit on Nickelodeon and do that for the kids.
People don't like to
You know what I mean?
see guys running around with flags when
Yeah.
they've played football for real. Like,
do that. Yeah, do that. Do that with your
the
like
cheerleaders out
SpongeBob
there doing
characters and
that.
shit. Dude,
I'm just saying.
cheerleader lingerie football, that would be great.
No, I said just put the cheerleaders out there. Come on. Keep it
Hey.
PG.
Don't interfere, bro. Don't interfere.
Oh, that's a pass interference. That's a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, sure. We'll just call it pass interference. But no, yeah, if you want to do, because the NFL's always talking about, play 60 and stuff like that.
Punt,
Just
pass,
do that
kick.
for the kids.
Yeah.
Bring that stuff back too.
Yeah.
Make it a spectacle. Mm-hmm. Play flag. Let some kids come in, play flag football against pros. You know what I mean? Something like that.
That
just put it on Nickelodeon.
What if you had the champions of the same competitions in college also be there to compete with some of the pros? Like, you can turn this into something competitive while also not risking injury. So please, these commissioners, I mean, my God, you guys make 40 fucking million. Can you guys just fix some of this shit? Dude, just have a forum and talk to some people passionate about their game and ask them what they think the fans want to see. Go have them ask the fans. Like, you guys can do this. Like, come on.
Yeah, we're doing this shit for free.
This
is like free advice. If we see this, we're suing.
Trademark TM.
Trademark right now.
All right. Well, hey, bud, I'm proud of you. You gave a very good NBA conversation. You did good.
Professional journalism, buddy. That's what we do.
Yeah. Pacers, 2027. We're going to win the championship, right? Halliburton, Zubats. We're going to get one of the rookies, Boozer or Peterson or DeBounce. We're going to have
or we don't.
Don't do that.
We don't know what pick we're going to get.
Go, sir.
Knowing our luck, it'll be 5 through 9. And it won't even be our draft pick. It's the wave of Indiana sports freaking emotions. We're riding that IU wave. It's about to crash down to Indiana Pacers fucking letdown.
Look, okay, the Mavericks, they traded their star player away, and somehow miraculously they end up with the number 1 pick that they didn't even know. If we do a trade for Zubats and we put their protections and we get fucked and we get the 5th pick that then goes to Clippers, bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
If anything, we should get the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
By lottery,
I would definitely get number 1. Anything in the top 3, I think would be fine. We'd be fine. We would get a difference maker.
Yes.
This year's a pretty decent draft.
Yes.
But yeah, to risk it like that, that's the only thing I didn't like.
It makes me nervous.
We're not gonna. We've never been. I think 9 or 10 is our highest pick we've ever had, and we got our franchise guy with it. But I don't see. I'm just gonna set my standards really low, so that way I'm not disappointed.
It's a fair thing to do. I'm with it.
Yeah. I've really learned how to bottle my emotions well.
I don't like to feel feelings, man.
I don't like it.
So
feelings suck.
Currently, the Pacers, we go 259. The Pacers have the 2nd worst record in the NBA. So right now, lottery-wise, we would have the 2nd best odds. Or I think they give like the first 3 or 4 get like 11 or something. They've been changing them over the years, percentages. They've been altering it for tanking and things. And so what I want to see is us stay in the bottom 2 or 3 best we can. My concern is if we have those lottery balls go bullshit. right? If we're third, all you need is 2 teams outside of the 4 to pop up, and then they move everyone back. So we gotta so that we have the good enough odds to stay in those first 4. They said that they wanted this protection because they thought they might still try for the 10th seed in the play-in, and so they wanted to be able to still have a pick. And then they said, well, the Mavericks, they jumped from like 7 or 8 last year and got the 1. And so they thought those lottery odds are going to just be in our favor. We could play for the play-in and get in late in the playoffs, or we could be still tanking and it's just going to work out. And I'm with you, bud. It was very risky.
Very
5
risky.
through 9 feels almost Pacers realistic. Like that's what we was probably going to get pre-trade. Like, well, we're supposed to get the 3rd or the 1st or 2nd, but we're going to get the 5th. Like that's actually how I was already thinking. So I understand the concern.
I would be okay if it was like 10 through 28 or whatever it is. Yeah, it just seems like we're going to be sitting there watching them pull boards out, and it's going to be pick 6 or something like that. Oh shit!
Yeah,
it just feels like it's going to fall somewhere in that 6, 7, 8 range.
Yeah,
where it's like shit, like it's just not going to go our way. And if it works, hey, it works, and everybody's happy. And Kevin Pritchard looks like a fucking genius.
Yeah, because he floated that pick out there to get them to come off Zubats, and then it didn't go their way, and we kept the pick. And it's like, look at our fucking team. We're going to be really good. And I like it. I like that if it works. If it works. And like, I don't want to see Hallie at the draft lottery with his fucking heart broken again. He tore his fucking Achilles for this team, and they're going to put him out there, and he's going to go,
shit, I got to do it again. Yeah, it's kind of like taking your son fishing for the first time, and you've never been fishing yourself. Where it's like, okay, I'm going to show you how to fish. Shit, I actually got something on the hook.
What am I gonna
I've never taken a fish off the hook before. What do I do?
What do I do now?
I was like, oh, fuck, I wasn't expecting to actually catch something.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, what do I do? So, it just worries me. Maybe it was a turning of the Indiana sports tide. I don't know. But I really, really hope it's either a 1 through 4 or it's a 10. I really, really do. But if it's at 10, it's worthless.
You did say something that just kind of popped in my brain. What you just said a moment ago was difference makers. Do you think that's really what Pritchard did with the pick? Was he said, you know what? There's 4 difference makers, I think, and then I don't care. Do you think that's kind of because what you just said? It's like my brain just kind of was like, yeah, that he's basically saying if we have the 4th or top guy or better, then I love it. But if it's the 5th best, he's like, we might not be able to break him into the rotation for what we're going for.
Yeah.
Maybe he's looking at going the 5th best player. I can't get 12 minutes a game all year long for him with how we're built.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, was it right for him to feel that confident about the team, thinking that it has to be DeBonsa, it has to be Peterson? Otherwise, we're just going to get a less expensive 10 through 30. That's kind of what you just said. Like, that's actually kind of how it looks. He only wants a difference maker or a very cheap rotational way down the back. He doesn't want the 5 through 9 for the price.
Yeah, well, at that point, use that pick no matter what and get a better veteran or something, But you got to think outside. Maybe there is only 4 difference makers right now.
Yeah.
But you have to look at it also like one of those top 4 teams might reach. One of those guys might, somebody's there at 3. They may take the 5th best player.
Sometimes 3 and 4 they reach, and the New York Knicks type, they pick like a guy that you're like, oh shit, and then it leaves someone for you. I see that.
Yeah, like they don't go for a player; they go for a system guy. And maybe he's at 5. They think, well, he's better in our system. You don't want to play around with that area, because you could be at 5 and still get a top 4 player. You could be at 6 and still get a top 4 player. So you maybe want to give yourself maybe a couple more picks as a cushion.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very risky.
If he's convinced, what you actually did was you only named the 3, and I've been naming only 3 a lot lately. If he's convinced there's only 3 difference makers, was the cushion the 4th? Was that what he did with the cushion? Was 4?
No, I think this is probably one of the one of the better draft classes that's come out as of late, because there's a lot of talent that's eligible to come out this year. But you could probably get still a decent player if you're in the top 10. It may not be, oh my God, right away, but you could still find a diamond in the rough, per se.
Yeah. They have I think I figured it was going to be Caleb Wilson of North Carolina is considered the fourth best prospect, and he's 6'10", 215. And he does look really
Yeah,
nice. He does.
he does look nice.
So I see that 20 points and 9 rebounds. There probably is 4. We'll start trying to make sure we mention his name. He probably is a fourth difference maker with his size and length and scoring ability. Yeah, he probably is also another difference maker. But Keaton Wagler of Illinois is awesome this year. You have
Very
to
good,
watch
yep.
the tournament too, because some of these guys might make a fucking name for themselves. So I
Somebody will,
agree
yeah.
that rolling the dice 5, 6, 7, there could have still been a star waiting for us. Nate Ahmet from Tennessee is another lanky guy. It's like, dude, there's some talent.
Yeah, this is one of the better drafts that's been out lately. So if you have a guaranteed lottery pick, I would not risk it.
Yeah, you would have liked to see top 10 protected or lottery.
Top 10 protected. Yeah, because I mean, come on, this is your best chance to get a high end draft pick, to get a maybe generational player. You never know. Franchise changing guy.
It would be nice to have us get the number 1 because we've never had it. Isn't that like a thing that people like wholesomely? They're like, dude, the Pacers were in the NBA Finals. Halliburton tears his Achilles. IU Hoosiers win the football world, and like Pacers never had a number 1 pick, and they get the number 1 pick, and they're a contender. It's like, isn't that a good story? People have been loving these underdog stories and teams from out of nowhere that are suddenly really good. And like, dude, that's a story that people will like. I think parody, it gives you a lot.
Yeah, for a team that should have hung a banner at the beginning of the season, you know, had their hearts ripped out. Grown men cried that night.
Dude.
I know I did.
When it happened, I stood up.
When it happened,
I stood up.
Immediately.
I put my hands like this. I walked away from the TV with my eyes closed. I could have walked into something and broke my leg just like he about did. I could, but I didn't. And I didn't hit nothing, and I just walked away. And my mother was there. She doesn't even watch sports anymore hardly. My wife was there. They were just like, oh no. And they were talking the whole time, and I was just doing this with my eyes closed. And I just was like, I can't even, like, my brain was processing. Now, times that by 100, and that's what Halliburton was going through. It was like just an unbelievable, just saddening moment. And the tear he was going on at that very moment, you're just like, holy shit, we just lost it. They just took it away. That tendon just fucked us.
Yeah, so, but T.J. McConnell tried to keep us involved. Dude, you know,
Pacers tried. By the way, did you see that we beat the Knicks in overtime?
Yeah, I was like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Come on.
And T.J. McConnell was laughing at Jalen Brunson, joking with him. He got crossed up by Brunson. Brunson missed the 3. And you see T.J. after, like, on the next stoppage, he starts patting Jalen. He's like, hey, thanks for not crossing me and making that or whatever. And Brunson laughed. And then Brunson... Dude, what's ironic is the rivalry that's brewed, there's also a lot of respect that is brewed. Brunson goes and talks about the Pacers after the game. He's like, even though they're one of the worst teams by record, he's like, they're one of the toughest teams you can play, period. They are one of the toughest teams you can play. And then and it's like, dude, like respect. Like he sees what's happened. And he's just like, it's not like we want to play the Pacers. They are still really difficult to deal with. So, you know, kudos to Brunson. He's a professional. I don't like how Heartbeat 7 his thumb in his butt. It's like, dude, trade his fucking ass. You know, Jalen Brunson's a dude.
What's going on with that?
Trade Hart's ass. Jalen Brunson looked like he was going to slug him too.
Yeah, some Christian Wilkins shit.
Why you gotta be a Dwight Howard right now? Dwight Howard retired. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, don't be grabbing bike horns on the sideline.
Jesus. Yeah.
No, I think that would be, if that were to happen, if the Pacers were going to be gifted the number 1 pick overall, I would probably do the exact same thing that you did when Tyrese went down. I would just go,
what? But with like this like feeling of like, no
curse
way.
Lifted.
Yeah. Well, we said
I would
curse
feel vindicated.
Lifted. We said curse
Yeah,
lifted with IU Hoosiers. So now the question is it
yeah,
really true? Is Indiana going to have a few lucky things go our way and build really strong
yeah,
contenders in sports? Like, are we really going to be there, or is it just that was just
yeah,
kind of one off kind of thing?
yeah. I think as long as we can get through 9 to 5 without hearing our name called,
Here we go.
I think it'll be like, all right, we're gonna get something. We're gonna get some help. And it's like, okay, now the trade's worth it. Okay, you got Zubac in for as much as you can now. Next year he'll come into it a little bit more prepared. So I think, if we can get 4-1, I would be happy. And if we
And
hit on the first round pick, on the first number one pick, Indiana sports is no longer cursed.
yep, that would be wonderful. And shout out to the Clippers who got way younger. I'm excited. Matherin and Garland. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, dude, good luck to Benedict Matherin. He's a dude. He's a baller. He plays so damn hard.
yeah.
I
He
would
gave
love
us
to
all he
see a
had.
young backcourt build. They build around that, and like so, Clippers. Good
Yeah,
luck. I would love to see that old stuff that they had, adding all the older vets and going for it. I'm so glad they finally tore it down and are starting to rebuild. Kawhi Leonard probably will get moved in the offseason, and they're going to go all the way young and go for a more rebuild. And I'm like, yes, it's nice to see that
yep,
refreshness. That I like that. Good luck.
yep. Absolutely right. That you see what the blueprint is.
Yep.
So that would, I think, be better for the league, man.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We brought a lot of just good old banter into it, and now the show's over. We'll see you later.
Say,